Greetings, what's up, and a very warm welcome to the channel. The sun is hiding and the magpie is casting. Coming to you guys right now with a live 1 versus 1 battle, fresh from the ladder, featuring spawning in the north, it's going to be the Soviet forces of Burmie. And spawning in the south, it's going to be the Wehrmacht pieces of Alastor. The map today is going to be Langorskaya, so we're probably going to be in for quite a brawl here, assuming neither player just destroys the other off the bat. Yeah, as the two players move out across the map and get set for the initial scuffles, I'll just take a second right here to talk about some stuff, as is my custom. So yeah, basically, I uploaded all of the ESL VODs. I hope that you guys have enjoyed that. I hope that that's something that you like seeing on the YouTube channel. Yeah, I've done a few casts since then, but right, get this. Every single one has been incredibly one-sided and ended in like less than 12 minutes. So I basically have thought, you know, they're not really worth uploading. I even got a couple of sweet games from DevM, but, well, I thought they'd be sweet, but they actually just turned out, like I say, to be incredibly one-sided. Turns out that kid's pretty good at this game. So yeah, there have been some attempted casts, but nothing that good. So I'm hoping this is not going to be another one of those. I'm hoping that this is going to be upload worthy. Yes, my settings are still refining. I'm using a different piece of software. Again, I'm using some different settings, different encoder this time, trying messing around with bit rates and stuff like that, messing around with audio settings. So again, your feedback is very much appreciated. If you could let me know whether you find it too easy to hear me, or rather too hard to hear me, or if the game's too loud, too quiet, that kind of thing, that would be much appreciated. So, let's turn our attention here to the game at hand. Seems like we've got a pretty standard opening here from Burmie, who's actually lock and loading with the industrial Soviet Windustry commander on his loadout, so it'll be interesting to see if he picks that. Got a few scuffles going on around the map, couple here over in the east of the map. A couple of conscript squads here exchanging favourably with these grenadiers. Actually, those grenadiers, yeah, there we go. I was going to say, they need to think about getting out of there, because that's just not going Alastor's way at all. And yeah, over here in the west of the map, wow, actually, this engineer, pretty wounded. He ought to escape. It's unlikely these grenadiers are going to bring him down. He's got quite a lot of health left on that model. So Burmie's probably going to get away with that one just fine. Now, Burmie's a returning player to the channel, but it's actually been quite a while since I cast him, so it's nice to see him active again. I do remember him being quite skilled and a pretty good player, and indeed he's up here at the #1 rated game on the live games ladder, so he ought to be pretty decent. MG42 here in a nice arc, going to catch these conscripts here. Alastor, I think I've also, no, I've definitely cast him as well, but again, not for a while. And these names, not ones that I'm used to seeing in the ESL tournaments, which I have to say has probably been the majority of my casting recently. So, yeah, we'll have to see what they can do here. Where are these grenadiers not making it far out of the base? They're like, yeah, we're going to go on a mission, let's go and capture some, conscripts, get out of here! Wow, only they probably sound more German than that. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, those guys are going to be forced back in like no time whatsoever. 4 squads of conscripts now, the count for Burmie, but he's going up to his support weapon Kempanaya, so going to diversify a little bit as we move forward. No conscript upgrades at this point. I'll check the tech for the German player in a second, but we've got a little fight here. MG42 going to catch these conscripts in arc, more than likely going to force them back. They're right on the edge of the arc, actually, so Burmie might be able to just micro them out, but it looks like he's not actually doing that. Maybe his attention is elsewhere. These grenadiers going to force away some conscripts here, and pretty much everything looking reasonably even so far. Scoreline slightly favouring the allied player, leading at 500 over 462. Burmie there, opening up a nice little lead. Going to extend that further, actually. Completes the cap here in mid. That's pretty nice. This MG42, there we go. Now it catches the conscripts, and they're in negative cover. That will force the fallback. So let's check the teching here. For the Wehrmacht player, seemingly escalate to battle phase 1. There we go. Just coming down on the queue. Pretty standard stuff there. Pretty standard timings. So yeah, this looking like we're getting set here for a pretty decent game. Nobody taking any ludicrously good engagements and totally flat-footing their opponent. Nobody getting the upper hand that much, as I just rotate the camera a little bit here. So, pardon me. Got some grenadiers here exchanging fire. These conscripts are probably going to get involved once they're done capping, and that'll turn bad for the German player. These conscripts getting all up in the face of these grenadiers, but actually the grenadiers' accuracy serving them well, even at this point-blank range. There we go. Yep, conscripts going to have to GTFO. So taking some pretty nice fights actually on the right flank is the German player. These grenadiers not quite in cover. There we go. He moves in. I can hear the sound, the dulcet tones of an MG42 opening up here. So Seemingly, actually, the German player taking some nice fights here. I imagine these conscripts are going to get forced back in a second, perhaps. Actually, they're going to beat these grenadiers, but I don't think these conscripts are going to stick for long, and that means that most of the Soviet forces will be on the retreat. So there's got to be a window here where the Axis player is going to be able to capture some ground, get something done, hopefully do something about these victory points, because he's beginning to fall behind there. No sign of the Leichter Mechanized Company, actually, and his pioneers aren't even falling back yet. They're out here fighting. So his tech is actually a little delayed now as Alastor. Most German players do go for that Leichter Mechanized Company. It's very unusual that you skip it, because then you just stand to die to pretty much a T-70. I mean, pack guns turns out pretty good. Panzer Grenadiers, pretty good at dealing with tanks. And trying to get all the way to your support armor corps and then churn out a Panzer IV or something for those purposes pretty much leaves you dead. There are some builds you can go with Osterpen and stuff where you can skip like the infantry company and whatnot, but skipping the Leichter Mechanized building is like, that is super ambitious. No sniper as well, actually, out of Alastor. He's stacking a lot of manpower and he's not building his tech buildings. Here come the pioneers at last, but usually if you're stacking this much manpower, you do tend to go for a sniper. It's a decent choice even against Soviets. When it's, I would say, against Americans and Brits, it's the sniper feels much better than against Soviets, but even against Soviets, a well-microed sniper is an absolute demon on the field. So anyway, a couple of squads of conscripts here. Gonna get up on these grenadiers in cover here. Probably this squad here should fall back sooner rather than later. I believe the grenadiers, yeah, they are pretty much focusing this squad here. Wow, how are these guys still alive? Being pretty ambitious, actually. Like a sniper coming out of Fog of War would almost ensure a squad wipe on this little squad here. So being pretty ambitious here is Burmie. Really sticking to get the maximum value for money. He's not going to get the cap with this squad, is he? Surely not. Burmie. Oh, Burmie. Oh, this is quite nice, actually. How are these conscripts not dying? There we go. Finally. Bam. One of them goes down. And there we go. And that's got to be the fallback. Yeah, Burmie squeezing every last drop of value out of that squad. And I have to praise him for his judgment there. I was there saying he could have fallen back, or he should have fallen back ages ago, but doing okay. I guess he was lucky no sniper came out the Fog of War. Leichter Mechanized Company has completed for Alastor. And we're going to have Panzer Grenadiers here, going to be the weapon of choice. There are enough munitions for the Shreks, and I imagine we'll see those come down in due course. Meanwhile, the Soviet player has established his his Tank V battalion command, so he's going to have the T-70s coming out soon. Flamer upgrade finishes on these pioneers in a timely manner, just in time to burninate out these dudes. Another squad of conscripts going to fall back there. So both players at the moment trading pretty evenly. Burmie just about getting the upper hand, but only because he's coming ahead in victory points. The income situation dead even. So actually, yeah, we couldn't have had a better setup for a mid and late game brawl. Really, this is going to be pretty exciting, I think. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Also, no commanders picked. So actually, yeah, this game totally right now. This game is just raw potential. All the options. And none of the certainties right now, which is kind of exciting. This is a nice build-up. I like it. Pack gun going to be the choice here for Alastor, and then the T-70 for Burmie. Again, pretty standard stuff. I'm actually a little surprised that Burmie's army isn't a little bigger than this. His manpower's been pretty flat out, but he's still only got 4 squads of conscripts and those engineers with the Flammenwerfer. Against 3 squads of grenadiers, a pack gun, an MG42, and some Panzer Grenadiers, starting to look a little bit uneven there. And you can see it's 51 supply against 25 here. Now that's there we go. Takes a little bit of a jump. So now it's 51 to 32 with the T-70, but still slightly smaller army size. And if you look at the mini-map, I'll tell you what, let's crack the tactical map. We can see that the Axis forces are making a pretty concerted push across all of the east and the mid, in fact, beginning to come west here and push those conscripts back as well. But anyway, here comes the playmaker for the Soviet player. It's going to be the Soviet T-70, and he's going to commit that. He's going all the way around the back. Oh wow, he doesn't know that this pack gun is here, but if he did, he could actually overrun it, and that would be brutal. So we'll see if he's able to catch wind of that and come onto it with the T-70. A squad of grenadiers actually going down on the right flank. Sorry I didn't catch that one on the camera. T-70 are going to lay into these weapon teams and force them all back. Pack gun's going to turn, and it may get a hit here. I know there's combat going on the right flank, but this T-70 right now is the money unit on the field. It's going to step into the arc of this pack gun, but there was no line of sight, so it sneaks through, even getting an autocannon, or rather a cannon shell onto the weapon team. So spicy plays here for the Soviet player. Getting a squad wipe over on this flank. Yeah, here we go. Plenty of grenadier corpses here. Wow. So I'm guessing that was like a Molotov or a demo charge? No, there's no chance of a demo charge. Have Molotovs been researched? No? Okay, wow, we're just, anyway, exterminating a unit out of a building nicely there. T-70 also looking pretty good right now, and the Axis players' advances have been curtailed. So Burmie setting himself up nicely here. That Pat gun looking a little slow and clumsy in the face of the T-70, though it is backed up now by the Shrek Panzer Grenadiers, so I would be amazed if that T-70 makes it to 2-star bet. I'd kind of be surprised if it made it to 1-star, actually. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. It all depends on the skill of Burmie here and how he chooses to take engagements and with what intel, with what scouting he moves in with the T-70. If he plays it too aggressively, he's going to lose it. And like at this stage, with this amount of AT on the field, any kind of Panzerfaust is just going to be like game over for the little light tank. So Burmie is going to have to be careful with the T-70. Now the squad of Panzer Grenadiers. I like this from Alastor. I honestly think Panzer Grenadiers are a really good unit, and I actually think that they're underused. I think they're underused in their anti-infantry like role. I think if you just leave them as 4 dudes with STG-44s, give them support. They're not supposed to fight by themselves, and let them chew into your foe from mid-range. And they just deal damage. Like, they really do. They are way more accurate than Storm Pioneers at the mid and long range, but mid-range is where they really, really shine. Just like this, here we go. Just taking fights at this range. Whoa, he's going to push them right up. Well, fair enough. I guess these guys are suppressed, so these Panzer Grenadiers have nothing to fear. T-70 here going to take a dive down onto the west flank, catches these Pioneers who are going to try and grab the fuel back again for the Axis player. That's going to be denied again. Double fuel right now for Burmie. Has been established for quite some time, and that is going to start looking really good. Whoa! These Grenadiers are so close to the mines. So close to the mines. Actually, yeah, mines popping up in all the right places here for Burmie. He's making a lot of nice decisions. Whoa! Double Shreks just flail, and the Pack gun misses. That T-70 is on, like, so lucky. Double Shrek miss and the Pack miss is very lucky. That could have been a dead T-70 if the RNG gods had just decided it. So anyway, yeah, Burmie here going to catch a lucky break. And the little light tank going to survive a little further. It's coming up for 1-star VAT. And I would say it has been useful, even though it hasn't done that much damage. It has, like, dictated, you know, you have to build this to basically to keep your opponent honest. The Pack gun here finds the T-70, which is going to have to scurry away. There we go. But yeah, you kind of have to build the T-70 in a lot of ways just to keep your Wehrmacht player honest. Like, if you don't build the T-70, then, you know, they can just basically get away with a whole load of, you know, being aggressive all over the map and not having to worry about moving with a Pack gun, not having to worry about a lot of things. Yeah, I do like the T-70, even though it hasn't done that much damage, is basically what I'm saying. There is a Zis gun here back in the base that Burmie seems to have forgotten about. That could be useful out on the map. No sign of any additional tech at this point for the Soviet player. Let's just check the Axis player's base here. Has he gone to Battle Phase 2 yet? No sign of Battle Phase 2, which means that Alastor here could be considering that mobile defense doctrine, or he might just be keeping his options open. He hasn't really got... actually, you know what? Festung armor. It's been a long time since I've seen Festung armor used. This is an okay map for it, actually, especially against Soviets. The command tank is really useful. Hull down is pretty useful if you remember to use it. And... what is it, the Pack 43 I believe it's called. Yeah, that could be really, if you build the Pack 43 like somewhere back here, like behind the line of sight blocker, yeah, it can be taken out by indirect fire and things like that, but it's actually a pretty, you know, it is absolutely dominant, let's put it that way. So I guess Alastor is going to wait to see what commander Burmie picks, and if Burmie goes for something like Soviet Windustry, you know, Soviet Windustry doesn't have any call-ins, that Pack 43 is going to look pretty safe. So anyway, MG42 here getting taken out by a nice work out of the T-70 and the conscripts, but that T-70 has been tagged by a Faust, so I guess its engine is broken. Shrek hit's going to be forthcoming. That's very nice. If these Shreks can just get into the building, that'd be great. But there's a Maxim here with a fantastic window of fire, just firing through the gap in this line of sight blocker. Catches these Panzer Grenadiers. Conscripts get into the building, and they're now hosing these Panzer Grenadiers, who aren't going to do anything at this range. This Panzer Grenadier is taking a lot of fire. Pack gun in an okay position, but the T-70 has snuck away behind all this. So kind of getting away with murder a bit there is Burmie. That T-70, I really thought as soon as it took a Faust or anything with Panzers with Panzer Grenadiers with Shreks and the Pack gun on the battlefield, I was sure that T-70 was going to go down. But Burmie here finding the clutch angle with this MG, able to punish his foe, and as I say, taking out that MG42 is pretty nice. Now we do have a GR 34cm mortar here on the field for the Axis player. That's going to counter the Maxim handily. It could also pressure the Zis gun when he finds it. Here it is. And actually, those shells are landing kind of close to these mines, so there is just a small chance, I suppose, those mines could get tagged. Not sure about that. We'll have to see. Now, let's see. I'm keen to see some tech out of these players. They're both stacking tons of fuel. I really want to know what they're going to do. And it's like the suspense, you know? It's like, I want to know what they're going to do. So, anyway, on the left flank here, Panzer Grenadiers and Grenadiers taking a nice fight. They should force these conscripts back, and that might mean that Alastor at last is going to have his own fuel point, which he basically hasn't been able to have at any point, really, for the last, like, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes. Here comes that T-70 again. It's going to find the MG42. It's going to push that one back. Yeah, this T-70 actually being really well microed. I have to say credit where credit's due. Burmie, through luck and skill, keeping this thing in the game far longer than I thought. Just as I say that, it gets nailed by Shreks and a pack gun. Oh man, literally as I say that. Oh dearie me. Alright, so the T-70 took it. This is a super ill-advised dive poking in here, and I just heard the baff of a pack gun, and I guess the Shreks finished that one off. Sorry I didn't catch that one on camera, but yeah, this Maxim back in a nice position though, and that's going to be hosing down these Axis forces. Man, this game actually has been pretty close, but Burmie is just sitting on top of these victory points very nicely, so he finds himself with a healthy 206-point lead right now. 284 for the Axis player, under 491 for Burmie there, so that's looking really nice. I have to say as well, actually, Burmie, apart from losing that T-70, I haven't seen him lose very many squads, and whoa, what is this? The lesser spotted KV-1. Wow. I think this could be a channel first for the KV-1, which, given that I've been casting for some months now, is that's pretty special. Okay, cool. So the Soviet heavy tank is here. Let's see. I mean, you know, he's rolled and rocked. He's loaded and locked. He's ready to move out and do some damage. Maybe. I mean, what do you even do with a KV-1? Honestly, I did used to use the KV-1, and I basically just used to use it as mobile heavy cover for my infantry. Like, the cannon on that thing is so underwhelming. So I'm really keen. How much does it cost? 145 fuel as well. So this actually has to do something. Like, this is not a nothing unit. This wasn't just like 90 fuel or something. So here it is. First shot goes wide on this building. Second shot, okay, that did some pretty good damage to both the building and the gun. And the rate of fire doesn't seem like, well, it's not great. I don't know. I really want this KV-1 to actually be really cool, but we're gonna have to see. Pack gun gets it in arc though. That surely is gonna prompt it to have to get out. Yeah, there we go. Looks like, yeah, we've got Festung armor. Cool. So Festung armor out of Alastor. Yes. You know what? In the games, like after it was released, and for a long time, I don't know, probably like 2 months. This guy was like my favorite commander because he was in the game since release, and he was also one of the commanders who you started with like by default, and you didn't have to unlock him. So I would pretty much always use Festung armor, and I got really good with the hull down. I got really good with using Panzer Tactician, getting good with my tank micro, you know. So I do actually really like this commander. He's got like a special place in my heart. He's like my first favorite commander, I guess. Panzer IV command tank gonna be on the field here. You just saw the I love that animation when the tank gets into combat. The commander like closes the hatch and gets into the tank, and then when it all goes quiet, he like pops out and has a look about. Whoa, these conscripts pretty low here. Burmie gonna have to get a fallback here. Wow, the Panzer command tank gonna miss there. Pack gun finds the KV-1 here. So that's probably going to force that one back. The Zisgun is moving, it's not firing. If the Zisgun was firing, this Panzer IV command tank would have to be miles away by now. But as it is, it's going to stay for a few more shots. Panzer Grenadier is actually going to come through this area here, which was trampled by the KV-1 earlier, I think. So, whoosh, there we go. Double Shrek hits into the flank of the big tank, and that's going to have to cause it to keep moving back. The Panzer Grenadiers are actually going to try for a stalk here. They're going to try for another shot. There comes the salvo, getting one deflection hit. So that tank now on seriously low health. The Panzer Grenadiers ain't going to find the kill though. And looks like both players going to have to repair their tanks, reinforce their infantry for a second here, but by far coming out on top in that engagement, definitely the Axis player, so pretty impressed with what I'm seeing. Yeah, that was some pretty spicy stuff indeed. That was just a nice engage, actually. The Zisgun was moving, not firing. The Pack gun found the KV-1. The Panzer Grenadiers coming through for the flank was lovely. And Alastor here going to secure himself a little bit of a window of time here, which he's actually not making that much use of. Like, a lot of his squads are just milling around the middle of the map. These Grenadiers totally idle. These Panzer Grenadiers idle. This is a really good time. He could just grab this cut-off point. If he could, you know, if he pushed with everything, I reckon he could grab it. Or, you know, he could, I don't know, just push out onto the flanks, try and grab his opponent's fuel, do something. Is this a Maxim in this building? Okay, Maxim in this building is actual issues. Nice positioning there from Burmie. Burmie is just such a sensible player, I have to say. Tolomov here going to try and grab the Pack gun, but it's not going to find it. Panzer IV going to find the conscripts though, and that's a squad wipe here for Alastor. So this game definitely shifting. Alastor trailing still by like 216 victory points, but actually getting a couple of squad wipes, a couple of nice fights. This Panzer command tank is getting all the hits on the infantry. It's just giving them. So brutal stuff. Burmie, by the way, I haven't mentioned, he does have the KV-1, and that is, of course, off the back of the counter-attack tactics here. Now, this one used to be one of my favorites. It's the one which gets the B4 Stalin's Hammer indirect fire piece, and you also get the 4 Mother Russia ability, which was just used. Pardon me. Basically gives all of your dudes increased combat effectiveness and, I believe, defense. Oh, no, just increased speed, okay, for a while. Katusha here. Wow, so Burmie's gone up to the Mechanized Reg HQ, or sorry, the Mechanized Armor Campanaya. And yeah, he's going to be going for that Katusha, and on this map, that is always a devastating choice. So many times have I seen Wehrmacht forces dominated by a Katusha on this map, and it's because, look, see, like, the Wehrmacht forces always have to, like, garrison the seat of their power here. Like, here's where all of the weapon teams that Wehrmacht rely on, and let's face it, when you play as Wehrmacht, you do use weapon teams a lot. They basically all chill around here, because you've got this nice line of sight blocker. It's a really good, very potent position. You know, your pack guns have good line of sight to the main areas of battle. Your mortars can rain fire onto most of the important victory points. You know, and an MG here will also stop people from capping this middle VP, so it's a common place for the Wehrmacht players to put all of their, you know, soft targets, and that Katusha just, like, you know, just you know, hits them where it hurts, really does. So yeah, on this map, the Katusha often does a lot of work. Here it is. Let's see what it can get done. There are some mines here which the Panzer tank does see. He's trying to take them out, but the gunner here, clearly up too late in the officer's mess last night, not going to get a hit. KV-1's actually going to get the initiate here. Comes on into the side armor. Whoa, double penetrating hit. That KV-1 actually not as bad as I thought. Let's see if it can get a hit through the front. I'd be surprised. Yeah, it does. Okay, this KV-1's not so bad then, maybe. Whoa! He's reversing over his own mines. Always dangerous. A Panzerschreck in the wrong place there would have been very dangerous. Panzerschreck's going to be used on attack ground to take out those mines. So that at least was achieved for the German player. Nice positioning here with the Grenadiers and the pack gun to ward off that KV-1. Meanwhile, in mid, a Maxim getting set up in a great position. Find some Grenadiers. They're probably going to have to fall back. No hope for them. But actually, no, the GR-34 getting some grimy kills on the Maxim. Absolutely grimy kills. Actually, a rifle grenade off these dudes would probably seal the deal. A little late now because the Maxim's going to fall back. But yeah, that was a pretty sweet fight there for Alastor in the end. That GR-34 proving like absolutely pivotal. Anyway, so these Grenadiers are going to have to fall back. This KV-1 looking okay, coming up for its first star of Veterancy actually, and it gets secure mode. Ugh, so lame. Bit of a blank there at Veterancy 1. Then at Veterancy 2, he improved targeting and rate of fire. That sounds reasonable. And then Vet 3, ease of fire as well as great frequency. But anyway, the pack gun here and the Panzer Grenadiers find the KV-1. It's pinned up against this building. Dire times for Burmie here. A couple more Panzerschreck rounds slam into it. And this heavy tank now on its last legs. The Katusha here going to find the pack gun. So nice pickup here for Burmie. That was really nice. And if he gets the KV-1 out, he's going to look pretty smart coming out of this fight. These flamers here making it hell for the expensive Axis infantry here. Whoa! But the mortar, that GR-34 pulling overtime. The Katusha's going to go down. Wow, Burmie a little incautious there. That Katusha was parked behind this building, but it stopped firing a while ago. That should have been like miles away. Unfortunately, it wasn't. Flammenwerfer are going to drop here, and that means that the engineers have been wiped out here for the Soviet player. And look at the Soviet player's army. He's just losing units. He's hemorrhaging left and right. He's down at like 44 supply under 56. Panzer Grenadiers and Grenadiers everywhere. Loads of weapons on the floor. These Grenadiers now have a Shrek as well. Ugh. Ugh. And this mortar, how many kills? 12 kills, 2.5 stars of veterancy. Basically those 2 stars popping up in the last like minute and a half, I think. That GR-34 has been absolutely pivotal. Like, that GR-34 basically turned that fight, I think. And wow, I mean, Burmie's not out of this yet, but he looks a lot worse now than he did like 4 minutes ago. You look at the top left, look at the top right. Just weigh it up to yourself. Whose army do you prefer? I know whose I do. It's the red pieces. So Alastor here, finding himself in a really nice point. 23 minutes into this game. Yeah, he's still trailing by victory points, and somehow he's going to lose mid here. He should not allow this to occur. Oh no, Burmie here just taking advantage. But yeah, even with that, Alastor clearly ahead, looking pretty sweet here as we move into the late mid game. And now we're going to get to see some of the later game abilities of both these commanders maybe come to the fore. You know, we've got railway artillery, we've got that Pack 43, and possibly we've got the looming option for that B4 howitzer. Let me just, is that 700 manpower, I believe? Let me just check here. Huh? Does it count as a fortification? Oh, here it is, yeah. 600 manpower, okay. So, anyway, Maxim here on the flank doing some work. It's going to get pushed away in the end. But I feel like if Alastor would just push right now, he'd get a lot of work done, like a lot. The Soviet player is quite on, like, very much on the back foot here. This KV-1's getting repaired by 2 squads of engineers, means it's not going to be too long before that one's back on the front. But, I mean, Veterancy 1, let's face it, is so soggy for the Soviet tanks. Like, it's Veterancy 1, and it's the exact same in a fight as it was at Veterancy 0. Like, the exact same. And that is really bad. Like, there are a few things, actually, about the Soviet faction which I just feel like are a little bit outmoded, as we've got a Pak-43. This is what I was on about. The Pak-43 getting deployed here is really nice. And actually, you know what? He's seen for Mother Russia. He's seen the KV-1, so Alastor right now probably knows what the commander pick is and knows that there's no just, like, incendiary mortar or anything he can just, you know, have to worry about. So this is a really smart choice here for Alastor. I like this. I like it a lot. He's going to have to use attack ground a fair bit on that gun because there's no line of sight, but that's absolutely fine for a skilled player. You know, we should get that done, and it's going to be intimidating as hell for Burmie to try and take a fight in mid. Looks like we've got a bunker coming down here as well. That's going to try and come up to be an MG bunker. These grenadiers taking quite a lot of fire here. But the Panzer command tank here going to come in and cover for them. That bunker got shot up quite a lot though as it was constructing, so that's going to need repairs. And I'm not sure if he'll upgrade it before the repairs start coming down. Actually, that's a risk of a lot of munitions. This KV-1, right? It's no secret the KV-1's not a great tank in the game in general, but actually, like against just a Panzer command tank, it's kind of reason. Whoa, he's hanging it out to dry here. That's probably a dead tank. He stayed way too long there. The Pat gun is going to take a shot. Bang. Gonna miss though. And Panzer attack coming down off the Panzer command tank, almost saving the KV-1, I kind of feel like here. Ziskun's going to have to make way for these Panzer Grenadiers, that's fine. But wow, that was kind of an awkward fight from both parties there. I really thought the KV-1 should have died because it was just brutally overextended. He just overstayed his welcome in this position. But the Panzer command tank like overextended and was forced to kind of pop smoke, and that kind of allowed the KV-1 to escape. So kind of crazy times. Burmie does have the option for another KV-1 if he wants it. And there's also railway artillery coming down here on the doorstep of the Soviet player's base. Alastor beginning to flex his muscles. He trails now only by like 108 tickets now, so he is closing the gap. And his units are just out on the field, kicking ass, taking names. He's got a Panther tank coming. And I don't know, I don't want to say it's over for Burmie, but it's looking pretty bad. Demo charge here in a nice position. Can he, like, bait these grenadiers? No, he needs to just fall back, and then the grenadiers will come to cap. That's the plan here. And then he can try and get them. But he's definitely fighting from behind, so Burmie's going to have to rely on little pickups like this around the map. Just mines, demo charges. Oh, the grenadiers! Oh, the grenadiers! Dun 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 dun! Oh! Oh! Alright, that's the beginning of getting back in the game. Oh no, but the anti-infantry Panzer Grenadiers find the engineers. I reckon they could have pursued a bit further for more damage and possibly a squad wipe there. Oh, that did not just happen. I did not see that demo charge. Burmie. Right, well, Alastor was quite a long way ahead, but having lost 2 great squads there with a bit of veterancy on them, man, demo charges are really good if you don't have metal detectors to boot. Wow. That was so savage. Oh my god, that's 2 for 2. Alastor must be feeling the rage right now. I know I would be. Damn bullshit Soviets with their ridiculous tactics. That's what I'd be saying. Anyway, here comes a Panther tank though. That combined with the command tank here is real issues. As the right flank here just going to fold for the Soviet here. MG42 catching 3 squads in arc. There's a lot of support here, and that's a really bad fight. He just needs to flash full back this entire force. I don't know why I guess he's trying to stay for the victory point. I don't know about that though. I'm not even sure that's worth it. Like, he's ahead by 50 tickets right now. I just wouldn't worry because this is so risky for so little gain. This MG42 is going to suppress as well. So there's no guarantees. Okay, he does get the capture, but you know what? There's grenadiers right here anyway. Like, I don't know if that was worth it or not. My gut instinct says no. Nice rifle grenade coming down, but doesn't actually find the Maxim in the end. And this is going to be tough. We do have a B4 constructed here. And it's ready to fire. Whoa, the range on that thing. Wow, he can actually clip the Pak-43 with that. Jeez, he can actually clip the base with that. Okay, that B4 in a nice position. But why is it on this side of this line of sight blocker there? It would be so much safer here. Like, this just is really awkward. I don't get this at all. Look, here comes a Panther. He's just poking around. If he finds that, that's really dire time. Remember, though, the B4 does get a direct fire mode, which is absolutely brutal. It can almost one-hit a Panther. It doesn't have it yet, of course. I think it needs 1-star veterancy. Yeah. So yeah, I mean we'll have to see, but there's no doubt Burmie right now he's down. He's not out, but he's down. See if he can pick himself up in this game. Panther tank taking an awkward hit from a Ziskan. That's going to force that back. Yeah, Burmie actually has some manpower and some fuel to work with here. Let's just check the tech. Oh yeah, so he does have his... Yeah, an SU-85 actually would be quite the spicy option here. Oh, whoa, sorry, the B4. B4 took a shot there, clipped this building. I don't actually think it got anything though. So yeah, B4 going to take a shot there. I don't know what the cooldown is on the B4. A minute? Wow, that's way less than I thought. I thought it was like 70, 80 seconds. That seems really good then. Cool. Alright, well let's see what this B4 gets to do. Stalin's hammer, making Russia strong. Building Soviet might with Stalin's hammer. I don't know, my Soviet accent's all over the place, but we'll see. We'll see if I can improve it. What? Another KV-1 the choice? Whoa, Burmie, I don't know about this. Seriously, there's a Panther on the field, buddy. There's a Panther on the field. This is like a natural born KV-1 eater. Oh god, the Panther getting all up in the rear armor of this KV-1. Gonna make it look a bit foolish. Oh whoa, there's Shrek Grenadiers in the hood as well. Where's the Zis gun right? Sorry, the Pat gun right now. Okay, the Pat gun's not forthcoming. Is this just a tremendous bait though? He's ready on the B4 is ready. If he can get a sweet shot here, that's gonna be epic. One of the KV-1s goes down though. So now he has to get a good hit, and he's not going to find it, I don't think. This gun is going to see off the Panther for now. The Panzer Command Tank, I don't know where that is right now. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like the turning point in this match was when he just kind of foolishly lost that Katusha. I mean, like, and he could replace that pretty easily, actually, so I don't know why he didn't, because that's still just a great unit on this map. So if he still had that Katusha, and instead of that second KV-1 he had an Su-85, like, I would love Burmie's position in this game way better. It seems to me like this is just a simple decision making when it comes to unit composition error here that Burmie is probably going to die from. Like, it's looking really bad for him right now. He's got a Maximus Zisgun, 2 engineers, a KV-1, and a Stalin's hammer against a pretty good combined arms Wehrmacht army at AC-1 supply, which also has a PaK-43, which is just like, ugh, eye-watering firepower right there. So, yeah, I don't know, like, we'll have to see, we'll have to see. I mean, Burmie's not GGing just yet, so credit where credit's due, you know. That's pretty cool, but I don't know how he's going to beat a Panther tank. Like, that is issues. Oh my god, there's a Panzerwerfer on the way. Oh man, I think that's the right choice here. Alastor just demonstrating such savvy decision making, and I have to say, actually, this entire game, he's had such a savvy composition the entire game. He opened like 3 grenadiers. He went into like Pat gun and Panzer grenadiers, and that was so solid in the mid game. MG42 as well, actually, remember that. And then he's just looked super spicy ever since, and I love the way he tagged up the Panzer Shrek Panzer Grenadiers with an anti-infantry squad of Panzer Grenadiers. Like, and the way he had the manpower for all this was by skipping the sniper. But I think on this map that actually looked just fine. The Panther's going to actually get snared up on these mines though. This could be the beginnings of a pickup. The B4 here is taking fire, and it does not have the indirect fire ability just yet. He's going to take a shot right now. Just saw the barrel twitch. Oh, what the KV-1's getting on top of the Panther? No. The KV-1 takes out a Panther? Well, I've seen it all now. That's just crazy stuff. Panzerwerfer, though, taking some shots. It's going to find the B4. That surely is GG for the B4. No, the B4 survives. Crazy. And this KV-1, whoa, buddy, spin the KV. No, he's fighting with the KV-1 with rear armor exposed. Oh, dearie me. That KV really needed to spin. And I don't know, this B4 has not taken its shot. I don't know what it's waiting for. There's a nicely immobilized... Oh, it does find some grenadiers, but it does not pick up the Panzer Command Tank there. That was nice, but I think these guys should be enough to kill the B4 now, right? I mean, there's 2 conscripts here to hold an entire B4 against 4 Panzer Grenadiers. I don't think that works. Yeah, the B4 is going to go down here. Oh, Burmie fought so hard. Here comes some shocks though. Desperate hold mode. But the trouble is, you know, like behind all this, Burmie's like bleeding out, so I think he's just like playing for honor here. But you know, fair enough. The B4 does get taken out by a Panzer Shrek, and here come the shocks. They're going to try and overrun through these Panzer Grenadiers, but they're going to be met with some pretty stern resistance here. I mean, there's a tank here, and I don't think shocks are that good against tanks. Like, I'm not sure. Oh god, they're just getting brutally massacred. Grenade! Oh, good dodge. Alastor. Man, Alastor, like, he's looking pretty strong in this game. Oh! Oh, and that should be GG right there, I would have thought. There is nothing left here for Burmie. Yeah, he's seen enough. And he's going to choose this moment to leave the game. Fair enough. I think he actually fought a really good game there using a totally unconventional build. I mean, like, who uses KV-1s? Like, for real. Also, he took out a Panther tank using a KV-1, which I don't think I've ever seen that. Like, just nope, don't think I've ever seen that. His mine placement was good. I kind of liked his unit composition, but his army always seemed really small. Like, there was a moment where the Axis player just had like loads of shizzle, and he had like basically 4 squads of conscripts still. So I don't know. Trying something new there perhaps is Burmie, but yeah, this commander undoubtedly an okay one. But I just think like the first 4 abilities are great. They're all gravy. They're all pretty useful. The KV-1, I'm just not sold on. Like, I don't know. Tell me your thoughts if you've come up with some pretty spicy uses for the KV-1. I'm all ears, but I've just never seen it be great. And in this game, yeah, it looked okay. It's actually better than I remember. It can like reliably penetrate the this Panzer IV's armor, which was nice. And he, like I say, he killed the Panther tank with it as well. I just think that all of that money would have been better off in other units. Also, I think the pivotal moment for this game, like the pivotal moment, was losing this Katusha right here. I think if he'd have kept that Katusha alive, this game would have looked completely different. So a sad loss there, and that was basically a needless loss. Because remember, cast your mind back, it was done firing. Those Panzer Grenadiers were just advancing. I think they were chasing a KV-1, and they just took an opportunity shot and smashed out the Katusha. And then I think also if the second KV-1 had been an Su-85, I think that would have been a spicier composition, and also much better for defending this B4. So also, yeah, the B4 positioning a touch weird. Like, I don't know. Like, what's the advantage of having it on this side of the line of sight blocker? I'm not entirely sure, but I think probably, like, if you put it here, then you can see all of the same. You have line of. You have like you can fire all of the same things that you could from here, but it's slightly easier to protect because you've got machine gun nests and stuff in your base, and there's this line of sight blocker. So, it like those for me. I mean, Burmie played a really nice game, but those for me were the core problems, I guess, with his plan. Alastor just playing a straightforward, nice game. Bit of a quirky commander pick here, Festung Armor. I'm not really convinced it did that much for him. I mean, the Panzer Command Tank was nice, but you get that off of mobile defense anyway. Panzer Attack was nice, but you get that off of mobile defense anyway. Pack 43 was okay. Like, yeah, you can see it's got some veterancy. It did some work, but I'm not super sold on that. The Railway Artillery was, nope. Didn't really hit anything, and it's an okay ability. It's a nice munitions sink to have in the late game, but it's never a commander defining pick. You know, you never want to pick a commander just to have access to this. And he never used hold down, so I'm not convinced on Festung Armor, despite the fact that, as I said earlier, it does have a pretty special place in my heart. So yeah, a very smooth game from Alastor, using a quirky commander, able to get some benefit out of it. For Burmie, a very nice game. He opened pretty well, I thought, and like definitely he could have taken this game if he'd have just played slightly differently. In my opinion, made some slightly different decisions here and there. So yeah, I guess that will conclude Magpie 842's post-game breakdown. Yeah, I guess I'll be signing out for now. I would love to be able to tell you if I'm casting the ESL Cups or anything this weekend. Unfortunately, I still haven't had any confirmation on that. But of course, stay tuned on Twitter at MagpieCaster or on the YouTube channel. I'll post an update as soon as I know more. And yeah, I really hope to be casting some ESL action this Sunday. That would be super sweet. And as I say, yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on that. So for now, this is Magpie 842 signing out.